by the time this comes out, 2024 is going to be a wrap. And so we've spent plenty of time talking about Giving Tuesday, end of year, asks and invites. And we're having some great conversations lately, but let's just focus on 2025. So it's, this next year, you're having conversations, you're going to do a coaching call in the next 45 minutes with someone that, had questions around the same framework, frankly, right? What should folks be focusing on? Just what's going through your head right now as you coach nonprofits into this new year and opportunities and what have you?
Well, the first thing I always recommend is that you need to be in touch with your stakeholders, the people that are your biggest fans, reaching out to them, spending time. It always goes back relationship. And now's the time to do that. Even if you've got a fall fundraising event, that's okay. Start the conversation now. And it doesn't need to be tied to an ask other than ask for information.
Yeah.
Talk to them, see what's going on, see what they've got planned for this year. Give them an update on where you're at, what's going on. Just really, I think this is a great time to share with them about what you've got going on, see what kind of involvement they want to do, keep notes on all this stuff and just reach out to them and talk to them. I think we miss out on a great opportunity to fundraise because we don't take that time. We get so caught up in the minutia of the daily weeks and stuff and all of our being busy, that this is something, and you don't have to do it all at once either. This can be something you do on a, weekly basis, daily basis, set up a couple of times a week where you make some calls. And it doesn't have to be some big formalized thing. Hey, let's go get coffee. It literally can just be a phone call. I think one of the things I've seen a lot of people get caught up in is they're trying to meet with somebody in person when you don't need to. You're spending all this time and effort trying to get together when all you have to do is just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's, it's not, and maybe they want to. I mean, it depends on the relationship. They may say, hey, yeah, come on by the office and let's talk. Okay, that's awesome.
Well, yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that. It's just checking in. And then literally, I mean, hey, Trevor, how are things going? Man, just wanted to just reach out to you and touch base with the new year, let you know kind of what we have going on. And just really wanted to visit with you. You've always been a great supporter, and I just want to get any feedback you might have, any input or anything. Just see what they have to say. And I think sometimes when we just stop talking and start listening, we get a lot of valuable feedback from these partners because they care. If they're your biggest donors, your biggest fans, they're stakeholders. I mean, they're in. So, and they love to get those opportunities.
You said stakeholders when you started. Do you tell folks, hey, grab your top 10 donors? Give us some of the metrics. It's like, these people have given more than $1,000, $2,000, $10,000.
Well, it depends. I mean, it really depends on the size of the organization. I mean, if you're a $200,000 organization, your biggest donor is $10,000. Well, you got to kind of say, okay, well, that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to go down to where you just kind of depends on the numbers.
Yeah.
If you're a $5 million organization and you've got people that are giving you $250,000, and I want to be real specific. I'm not talking about grants. I think sometimes we get those things confused. Those are still relationships, foundational grants and stuff. But I'm talking about like individual donors, corporate donors that you have a relationship with. Those are the people that you want to reach out and talk to. But, maybe your top donor's $100,000 and, you've got 20 donors that are over 10,000. I'd get all hold of every one of them. Mm-hmm. It's something that can be done in 5 minutes. We're not talking, you see where the conversation is going to go. But it maybe go, nope, this is going to be great. And, because everybody's different. I think we have to realize who's communicating to us, what's their communication style. Some people are going to be, like Trevor, like you and I, we're talkers. We're going to want to talk, we want to hear about their kids. We want to hear about, all these kind of things. And we're really this deep relationship. But there's some people that are going to go, yeah, okay, no, everything's fine. I really don't have anything. Just let us know when everything's coming up and we're in. Yeah. And, we're going to do that same thing again last year. We'll do it again this year. But you're going to get a lot of feedback and you start taking notes, or somebody says, yeah, one thing that we'd like to get more involved in X, or we'd like to be less involved in Y. Is there something else that you could really fit? Mm-hmm. All these things that you can learn now before it comes up and you're calling for sponsorships and underwriting and trying to get your fundraiser to getting ready for it.
No
but
question.
Having these conversations, I just think that, I don't necessarily know specifically what you're going to get out of it, but I think more times than not, you get something that you weren't expecting. Maybe somebody says, oh, I'm so glad you called me. Hey, let's do this. Hey, I really, the just fact that you called really makes a lot of, really appreciate that. Because guess what? Not every nonprofit's doing this. A lot of them they've moved on, they're going on. So we want to just take a different tact, if you would, reach out to them, talk to them, and see what's going on.
I have told you, half a dozen times how much I enjoyed a conversation recently that we had with our friend Kel Haney about just getting on the phone. Mm-hmm. and how much she pushes folks to get on the phone and the messaging and all that stuff. And then I heard you to say, and she said something interesting that I'll piggyback on what you just said. You'd be surprised on how few organizations are doing just that, picking up the phone.
I think the reason is because they overthink it. I think everybody starts saying, well, what kind of message am I going to do? I've got to come up and have this. What do you think about this? Should I say this? Should I say that? I talked to somebody who's a very successful executive director with a foundation, and I know she's good. I know she's well-spoken. And she was like, what should I say? I said, what's on your heart? I said, just the truth. Tell them, talk about what's going on. I said, this is somebody who thinks a lot of the organization. They've given you a significant amount of money. They've probably got an opinion on stuff, and it'd be good to hear it. I mean, that's what we're here to do. We want to have a communication and a relationship, not just every time I call you, it's got to be a certain way. I've got to ask a certain way or do a certain thing. Yeah. This is where you learn to delve in that relationship, and you're going to find out a lot of stuff. If styles of communication is very important to people, if they're a no nonsense, get right to the bottom line, do it, understand that. That may be what you learn talking to this person, because the feedback they give you, hey, nope, everything's good. Well, don't take that because maybe, like you and I just said, we're big talkers. We want to do that. Don't take that as a negative. That's just their communication style. In the office, interconnecting with all my team, I mean, I'm pretty quick. I want to just go, I want to answer yes or no, and let's move on. Because there's going to be other times we're here connected to be able to do that. And so, that's just my preferred style. With somebody else's preferred style, they may really need to warm up and talk about it. And you'll learn those things. You'll get to learn about who your donors are. I think that's one of the most important and misunderstood things. Where are they at in life? You got there's a big difference between a significant donor that's at 45 years old and 85 years old. There's a big difference between somebody who is wanting to make a significant giving because they've got corporate reasons for it. Maybe they've got a mandate in their company that they're trying to do and they want to be a part of the community, or somebody that just really is passionate about whatever your mission is. Find out where they're at, what's going on. I just think it's learning who they are.
Yeah. We're in the relationships business. You said the term involved. I'm really starting to fall in love with that term when it comes to folks making outreach and their messaging as opposed to scripting and what have you. And just having that conversation with folks. I've been hearing it a lot. It was well put because you've already been involved. If I'm calling you, you've already gotten involved. Mm-hmm. You have these goals this year. We'd like to see you get, be involved even more. What does that look like for you type thing? I just heard you say involved like four.
Well, I think just having a conversation, maybe it's not just an outright ask. Hey, we want to see where you want to be. Because I'm just reaching out and I just wanted to reach out, check in. Yeah. Tell you we had a great 2024. Yeah. We're looking forward to 2025. You were a big part of that. I hope you're going to be a big part of this next year. I want to get any feedback that you have to give me. Is there something that, just anything? I'm just really would like to hear back from you on what you think about what our organization's doing, how we might improve, maybe do something better, something you as a significant, part of our organization would like to see. Mm-hmm. I just think, because you're going to probably get some genuine feedback. I feel like there's some things that happened that it kind of just made me a little uncomfortable. And you start going, okay, well, tell me about that. Yeah. And you're going to get to hear something because they weren't ever asked.
Even if it's something bad, they're being vulnerable with you, like you said.
Well, yeah. I mean, and you know what? Most of the time, it's something like, I really wish I wasn't getting so many emails from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it could be something so similar as that. Is that a really buzzkill where they don't want, you're going to have to go and change everything for them. You may not have to do that. It's not necessarily what the case is, but they're just telling you.
At least
Hey, I really wish you guys would have a valet parking because I hate walking because, our deal is always in March. There's always slush and snow, and I really hate walking. Could you guys do valet parking this year? I mean, it could be something like, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And you don't have to jump on it right then, but just keep a note. And then when it comes time for sponsorship and underwriting, going, hey, Trevor, you mentioned about the valet parking. We've got it set up. Love to have you be the underwriter for it. Totally. Here's what it costs.
Yeah.
I think having a conversation, having honest conversation, asking for that, and then being willing to just listen to where the conversation goes and be okay with it. Good, bad, or indifferent, just be okay.
Yeah.
And just go, wow, thanks a lot. I would have never thought about that. I did not know that was something that was an issue.
Yeah.
Because for some people, it just doesn't even occur, whatever that may be.
Well, we don't know what's going on in someone's head until we ask, or until we have
absolutely
up, the lines. Yeah.
Yeah. And talk about goals. Say, last year we were able to help send 200 kids to camp, and this year we want to send 250 kids to camp. Talk about your mission. Talk about what you want to do. If you've got some big ambitious goals, if you've got some things that cautionary, if there's something coming up and you go, I have some concerns. We've got a big grant that it's going to mean something. And if we don't get it, we're going to have to fill that funding up. And I'm not, reaching out to you to ask you for money, but I'm just telling you where we're at. Mm-hmm. And things like that are really good. I mean, you get a lot of good feedback, because then they go, well, what is your backup plan? Have you thought about what's that going to look like? What's that going to do? Are we still going to be able to help 250 kids if that doesn't happen? Whatever that program is and mission, what is it that you're going to do? I think this is the other part. You can do that with a lot of your folks, and it doesn't have to be the executive director, CEO calling everybody. Mm-hmm. Now, at the top level, I absolutely think that's a must. Mm-hmm. I think if you're not doing that, I think you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
But then maybe, you say, okay, well, we've got 50 donors that have given it a level of $5,000 or more. So I'm going to call the first 20. We're going to have somebody else call the next 20, and somebody else reach out to the last 10. And, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other people that are, your other stakeholders, board members, maybe you've got some critical vendors that you need to work with some relationships out with, some other partners. This is a really good time to do it. That's what we do internally in our company. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're reaching out to vendors, checking relationships, where
doing it today. We were doing it.
Yeah. We're working with all of our, our key partners and the people we work with, and just saying, hey, what's going on? Where are you at? What can we do to help? And we've actually been doing that for the last 3 months, leading up to this.
Yeah. Cause we know it can really stack up.
Yeah.
From experience.
But I mean, having those conversations, I really believe reveal a lot to us about how our organization's perceived, mm-hmm. how we can strengthen those relationships, how maybe we need to shore something up. Maybe we've been leaving somebody behind and they're feeling neglected. This is a great way to pick that up, because you could have somebody who you pick up the phone and call, and they go, I've been going to this deal for the last 3 years, 5 years, been giving money, doing all this stuff, and nobody's ever called me. Thank you. Mm-hmm. It means a lot. Just that simple amount of attention.
No, I'm not attempting to let folks off the hook here, Jay, but are you okay with folks making these calls after the first year? You don't have to feel a tremendous amount of pressure.
Oh, no, I'm talking totally after the first of the year. I don't, this is not like you should have been doing this for the last 3. That's not what I mean at all.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, it's just simple gratitude.
Yes.
Wow, we did this. Thanks so much. We really appreciate your help. Couldn't have done it without you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's it. I mean, I think there should be 2 separate calls. I think whenever you have that call for the first of the year, say, it's a new year. We've got stuff we've got to do. We've got our goals. Uh-huh. Here's where we're going. Here's what we're doing. We'd love for you to continue to be a part of it. Yeah. And I'm here to get any kind of feedback that you have. Have a conversation, and you don't necessarily know where it's going to go. And you don't need to necessarily steer it to something. Just have an open mind and have that conversation. And I think you'll be surprised with the feedback that you get from people. Mm-hmm. I know I'm always surprised by it.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you're by doing this, especially when you're, formulating this messaging and not a scripts for actors, right? Mm-hmm. Formulating this messaging and this cadence of contact and building these relationships with your primary stakeholders. It's not even like ripping the Band-Aid off, but I say that because people have so much trepidation because they don't do it, right? And they're fearful, or they're trying to meet in person all the time, and it's not realistic. When I would just pick up the darn phone and mm-hmm. and creating this cadence, do you feel like just doing this where it's like you're almost creating a playbook where it's like, I can do this every 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, reach out to me.
I think that, if you start trying to call somebody once a month, they're probably going to get a little tired of it.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just saying, they'll probably say, you don't need to call me this often.
Yeah.
Because you go a little bit the other way. But I think from a cadence standpoint, I think touching base with your taught folks, whether it's sending them a message, sending them a note, making a phone call, shooting them a text every 90 days or so. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I don't think anybody's going to be upset about it. In fact, I think they like it because then they know that you really value what it is that they are bringing to the table. Not just their money, but also their thoughts, ideas, and feedback. Now, again, just because somebody goes and has a recommendation and it's not a good recommendation doesn't mean you got to follow through with it. You can say, wow, this is something I had never thought of. I will definitely take this under consideration. Now, if you decide just absolutely no way, not going to happen, I think it's okay to call them back and say, look, here's why, and give them some reason. And I think, but most of the time, I think people are just glad that you call them and ask them their opinion.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got one. They always want to share it. This is their opportunity.
Especially if they're giving you money. You've earned it. Yeah.
I mean, it's important because otherwise they think, well, I just gave that money and I'm never going to hear anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't, because you're probably not the only person that they're giving money to. And it will set you heads and shoulders above everyone else.
Differentiation. No question. Yeah. I'm shocked once again, after just talking this through with you over so many years now, and then talking to some other folks where this is their business, where they literally just consult nonprofits daily about messaging over the phone and just picking up the phone, how seldom it happens. So here's your nudge, right? I mean,
and you know what is it? 3 calls. We talk about 3 calls a day.
Yeah.
Anybody can do 3 calls a day.
No question. Yeah.
If you've got 50 donors that are, $10,000 or more and you're the CEO, set up a schedule and call 3 of them a day.
You'll have it done.
You don't even have to have a full conversation.
Yeah.
You just say, hey, if you'd like to give me a call back, I'd love to talk to you. Whatever. I mean, make it simple, because that's when I talk about reaching out to these people. It's not about asking them something, asking them for money. It's not about something specific. You're just making a general outreach to them. And I think that's what's appreciated, is that you're including them in, other than just calling them whenever you need money.
We got to get you out of here because you're going to go meet with an executive director.
I am.
About planning for 2025 and a coaching call.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to set up time with Jason, go to HCA Fundraising, click on the free coaching button. It's in the resources tab, or you can just email us directly, jason@hcafundraising.com. We'll set up a coaching call. Jason's time is free, the most prolific mind in fundraising. You'll be hearing this before the end of 2024, 15 minutes with Jay. Really, really appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks so much for the time, brother. Appreciate you.
Hey, if you see this, I don't know if you can see it real quick. I just popped up a little QR code. If you happen to be watching this on video, they're not seeing it. Hold on a minute. Let's see.
Hey,
right now.
Oh, cool.
Hey, scan that QR code and you can set up an appointment.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that cool?
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, you surprised me. I didn't know that was going to pop in there. That's awesome.
Well,
hey, thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Awesome. Hey, everybody. Trevor just checking in at the end of that last segment of 15 Minutes with Jay. We're going to keep pumping that out every other Wednesday for the foreseeable future. The most prolific mind in fundraising, our co-founder, my business partner, CEO of HCA Fundraising, Jason Ledlow. So good. Just pick up the darn phone. That's what I pull away from this. I mean, we're in the relationships business. If you're a good friend, family member, spouse, parent, son, aunt, uncle, you pick up the phone, you check in with your people. Why should this be any different? It's not a script. Scripts are for actors. It's a message. You're building relationships. The most powerful fundraising tool that you have is your phone. I love what Jason says. Hey, starting the year off, just call your top stakeholders. Obviously, that looks different for every organization, depending on your size and scope, but you understand what we're talking about. And if you have thousands of people, then delegate that out. But you call your top stakeholders no matter what, and check in and get them involved. So just a great episode. Hope everybody enjoyed that. Do us a favor, share this with someone in your network, share this with a friend, a coworker, share it on LinkedIn, all that good stuff. Make sure to check out our new LinkedIn page for Hey Nonprofits Raise More Money. Some really cool stuff, some really awesome engagement on that page. We're already really, really excited about that. So definitely check that out. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment, hit the notification bell, download, rate, and review if you're listening on Apple Pods, Spotify, all that. So thanks so much, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy holidays to you all. Thanks for making this possible and for listening. And we'll see you all in the new year.